I got 6 tips for you to improve your machine chest presses. So number 1, we never want to shrug. You always want a lot of space between your ears and your shoulders. So the shoulders always stay down. Default typically for a lot of people is they end up shrugging, or they'll start the set down and shrug as the set goes on. So first and foremost, we don't do that. Get that head up tall, shoulders down. Next is the elbow position. You don't want the elbows flared up high like this. That 90-degree angle is no good. 75-degree angle is better, for a lot of people 60. And depending on your shoulder health and anatomy, you may even be tucked at 45 degrees. You got to play with that somewhere between 75 and 45. Next thing to make your chest press better, when you're on a machine like this, you need to be able to pull your hands off of it, right? Can I get my hands an inch off the handles? If I can't, if that were my max range and I couldn't, I'm already starting too deep. So make sure that you can take your hands off. If you can't, you need to adjust it. If you're on a machine that doesn't adjust, what you need to do is have a training partner stand out here and help you lift the first one up. Next tip to make your machine chest press better is a thumbless grip. I really like a thumbless grip. It's safe, there's no risk whatsoever of getting hurt. You know, if you're doing a thumbless grip on a barbell, there's obviously a lot of risk. Thumbless grip on a dumbbell, which I do like, definitely takes some balls, takes some coordination, very risky, but here, there is no risk whatsoever. 9 times out of 10, this is gonna feel better for people. It's gonna feel better on their shoulders, better bar path, elbows are gonna feel better. So try the thumbless grip, and then I even take it a notch further, and I like to bend the wrist back a little bit. That kind of just puts your elbows and your shoulders in a better position. So that's kind of like a 2-for-1 tip. Thumbless grip. You could go thumbless just over the top, but again, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10 when I show people the bent back, they're gonna feel better. Now, when you come out of the bottom, what you want to think about is not just pressing, right? You're not just mindlessly pressing with your triceps and front delts. What you want to think about is 2 things. 1, you want to drive yourself away. So I'm pushing myself back through the bench, right? So I'm pushing myself back through the bench as opposed to just pushing my arms away from me. I'm driving myself through the bench and I'm driving my head back into the pad. So that's important. Next tip is the mind-muscle connection, the cue, the kind of thing I want you to think about here is 2 things coming out of the bottom. 1, I'm going to take the pits of my elbows, and I want to think about driving them together like I'm doing a fly. Now, obviously, they're not going to move that way because I'm locked into a machine, but that's the intent. The other thing I want you to intend to do, think about doing, is driving this inside of my bicep here into the side of my pecs. So those 2 things are what I'm thinking about coming out of the bottom, in addition to driving myself back through the bench. So it looks like this. So I get set up, I have my head up high, not shrugging, shoulder blades are backing down, open the hands up, I go with the thumbless grip. I will do every warm-up set, and until it gets heavier, I'll keep my hands open, and then I close them as I get heavier. I got the chest up, I never want this chest to sink, right? So that's an important tip that I missed. We always want this chest up high, and we don't want any kind of collapse throughout the set. I'm down, I'm set, I got the hands, I'm thinking about driving myself back through the bench, head back, and pits of the elbows coming together. I control, but notice I don't collapse, right? I always stay up, no collapse. Chest is up, driving the pits of the elbows together, and thinking about smashing my biceps into the side of my pecs. So I'm here, I'm not collapsed, I'm up high. Elbows aren't tucked too much, and they're not flared up high. They're somewhere between 75 and 45 degrees. And I drive myself through the bench. As the weight comes down, I'm not like this. I'm reaching that chest up to get a really big stretch, and then I drive myself back. Reach tall, big chest, drive back.